Broadcasting live from the Business RadioX studios in Woodstock, Georgia. Welcome to Women in Business, where we celebrate influential women making a difference in our community. Now, here's your host.
Welcome to Women in Business, powered by Business RadioX, where we support and celebrate influential women making a difference in our community. I'm live in the studio, Lori Kennedy here, and we also have Stone as our producer. First, I want to introduce Patty Ponder, who is the president of Aroundabout Local Media, and she is going to tell you a little about herself and what she does, and then we have some other guests that she is going to introduce us to. So, Patty, why don't you let us know a little about you?
Well, thank you so much. Well, I'm Patty Ponder, and I've been with the company for 11 years this past June. And we, as a president of the company, I do run operations of the company and try to oversee everything that we do and make sure that we are cohesive from sales to operations, look and feel of the magazine content, which is actually handled by our executive editor, Candi Hannigan, who is here with us. We also have our director of marketing, which is Jennifer Coleman. She's here with us today. And we're all here and hope to share with you exactly what we do at Aroundabout Local Media and why we call this local media.
Well, I am looking here at your Aroundabout Local Media team, and I see a lot of beautiful faces on here. And I do notice that many of them are female. Is that by design, or is that something that has just naturally occurred, or how does that play out in your business?
Well, it's not really by design. It just seems to have occurred over the years. When we interview all types of people and all candidates that apply with us. It's just gravitated that way. We definitely have diversity among age in our organization. We have young women with small children, young women who've just gotten married. Some of us are more seasoned, experienced. We like to use the word seasoned in our organization. Yep. So we have that diversity. We definitely have the diversity through our photographers. We have women and men of all different ages and races through the organization. And we make sure that our magazine definitely addresses all demographics. It's very, very important to us.
Yeah, I think that's great. Why don't you tell us exactly what it is that Aroundabout Local Media does?
Well, we have a couple different missions. We'd like to look at one is our altruistic mission, which we're most proud of. And our altruistic mission is to build stronger communities by sharing positive, uplifting, and relevant information about our neighborhoods and our communities to our readers. So with that mission, we share local information. I always share things when I talk to other people outside of our magazine, or it could be our clients or readers, that we like to share information going on in the community. It could be that we have 2 rival football games and you might see a spread of 2 high schools in the magazine, or there might be a little league baseball team who's won a championship, or there might just be local news, which our executive editor, who is, she's very experienced, and she looks for what might be coming next in the community. For example, when we built the amphitheater, she was able to find a schematic and share that in the magazine. And I can't say that other magazines have that ability and that talent. So that's our altruistic mission. And we also have a commercial mission, which we're very proud of, and that is helping small businesses grow. So small businesses, we like to focus on them, help them, work with them to select the correct marketing, the best marketing plan for them. We have a very consultative approach, and you'll find that when you meet Jennifer Coleman. She's very warm and friendly, really works with the customer to find out their needs and designs a marketing plan to work well with them, as I do myself. We care about the customer, their business, and their growth.
You mentioned a couple people that are here, and then you also mentioned a little about what they do. Jennifer, we'll start with you. How did you come to this company? What brought you here, and what do you enjoy most about what you do? How do you support the community?
Sure. So excitingly, this is my 3rd publishing company that I've worked for, and I started with hyperlocal community magazines in Houston, Texas, and I absolutely loved it. Transitioned to national media sales several years ago in the Atlanta area when we relocated. This is home for us, so we're back home. But met Patty Ponder a few years ago, fell in love with her. There happened to be an opportunity available, jumped on board, and ever since then, it's just been a perfect fit. So, and like Patty said, I work with our advertisers on a consultative approach. I really like to have one-on-ones and find out what makes the most sense for their business, what's going to fit their budget, what type of presence can we create for them. There's so many options that we offer. We have content writing opportunities. We have thought leadership, editorial writing opportunities, multiple sizes of print advertising, to fit their needs as well. So it's exciting to work one-on-one with these local businesses and partner together to help their business thrive.
And Candi, what is your history? What brought you to this place?
Well, I moved to Cherokee County 34 years ago, I guess, as a newlywed. So we have been here quite some time now. And before that, I have a journalism degree, and I worked for 3 newspapers in the Southeast, and then came to the AJC. Then I left the AJC, raised our children, and then when it was time to go back into the working environment, I started doing freelance work for the newspaper out of the Cherokee Bureau. So I started my hyper-local experience there, and I see how that's kind of built over the years into what I'm doing now through the magazines.
Who actually founded the magazine?
Well, that was Gina Carr and Don Kyle, and that's been, 25 years ago this past June. So they were local. They were realtors. Gina Carr was a realtor in our community. And in fact, I lived in the neighborhood with them. They were neighbors not too far from me, and their son went to school with my daughter. So they were local community residents as well.
Okay, and so then how did it come to where it is right now? Like, who got involved first here?
They were the past owners, and then they turned it over to John Flagg, who is our owner now. And John is a wonderful man in the community that I always admired and respected and wanted to work for. And so John has a multitude of businesses. He's an entrepreneur, and he jumped in the business at the appropriate time when Gina and Don left the business, and took over and just did some amazing things to stabilize the business, I guess is the best term to use. And then he went kind of back on the road, and he has a lot of, as I said, different businesses, but one of them is building beach homes and custom luxury homes. And so he was back doing that, and that's when he asked me to take over to run the business. And that's kind of when we started building this team. I have to say, Candi's not giving herself near enough credit. I always tell people, I said, do you remember the Dixie Living sections of Journal-Constitution? That's what Candi did. So she would, of course she wouldn't, because it's just her personality. She's just not giving herself credit for what she's done. And she was really working in the background with this magazine before she came on and became the editor of our Around Canton magazine, I believe, first. And through changes in the company, we asked her to become the executive editor. Since she's become the executive editor, this magazine has just flourished more and more and grown. The content has just grown, and people tell us all the time how much they love our publication, how they read it cover to cover. And I attribute that to Candi with her content, because we wouldn't be able to market this magazine if it didn't have the robust content that it has. And she's now building a wonderful editorial team of some younger people coming up, which we needed. And so I just had to give a little shout out to Candi, because she won't give it to herself.
Well, I love it. And I do. I mean, y'all, what you guys are doing is so encompassing of so many areas. Like, there are stories that have to be written well, but there are also your companies and that you support, and from a marketing standpoint that you have to support well and make sure that they're seen in the community. And you're doing all of those things with such excellence. Can you tell me how many magazines that you have and what their reach is?
Well, I'll let Jennifer jump in on this too. I'll just start off saying that we have 5. We're really proud to say we just launched around Kennesaw. And since that's Jennifer's territory, I'll let her expand on our distribution numbers and so forth.
So we have 5 hyperlocal community magazines with having just added Kennesaw, so we're so excited. And each magazine respectively is around 17,000 in total distribution. So if you put that together, but we're very specific with our targeted demographics as far as the carrier routes and the neighborhoods. We put a lot of focus into that for each of our magazines just to make sure that it benefits the reader and that it also benefits the advertiser. Gosh, I'm trying to think, Patty, what else I could add to that.
Well, I'd love Candi to share really about the content and how she makes those magazines fit each community.
It's a lot of fun, honestly, and I think over the years I've started to work a little more with our marketing team to blend the editorial and the businesses, the local businesses. But from my perspective, I love it when I have a 3-page calendar, because then I'm sharing everything possible in the community with the readers, so they aren't going to miss anything exciting because there's so much happening in each of the areas that we serve. And then for larger stories, because we're a monthly magazine, I get a lot of press releases with news, but I always try to look to the next level and say, okay, by the time the magazine comes out, people will know this already. So what can we do to provide an interesting story still? And sometimes that involves going to the person the story's about and getting a personal reflections from that person, or just looking at things from a different aspect to make the content unique.
Would you say, Candi, that like having a mayor write in the magazine, people like that is one of the things that makes our magazines unique or local?
No, absolutely. Absolutely. Some of the poor city councilors, I bug them so much. I'm like, will you write about this? I know this is coming, but you were the person behind getting this project off the ground and moving into the community. Will you write about how that happened? And let's send some photos too, and we'll just kind of share everything. So, yeah, we rely a lot on our local leaders for information.
And don't we rely on them on recipes sometimes? I love that.
Absolutely. Well, you got to have food. And honestly, yes, if we happen to leave out an ingredient in a recipe, oh my goodness, the phone calls come in because people are reading and they're trying these recipes. So something even as small as that is a big deal.
You do that on purpose, huh? Just to see if they're looking.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Well, we know they're engaging with us.
I love it. Yeah.
Well, I do notice that the articles are very positive. Like, I really appreciate being able to pick up the magazine and know that I'm going to get information and leave with more knowledge, but not feel like, oh my goodness, the world is going crazy, because we all already know that, right?
Mm-hmm. That's intentional for sure. We definitely, and that's kind of a personal goal of mine. I have kind of a mission-minded focus to share good news and to let people know the good things that are happening in the community, and also to help them to know how they can plug in and get involved and participate themselves in the different ministries and missions that are going on out there.
Yeah, that's great. So there are so many things that you've already shared about what makes your publications unique. Is there anything in addition that you would like to add to that?
I mean, I have to say our people make it unique.
I agree.
Really, we are, I don't want to start crying here on the radio because it's really emotional.
They can't see you.
I know, that's good. But we're just so extremely fortunate with the quality of people we have on this team. And the new people that have come on, Candi's done just a fabulous job interviewing and bringing on her new people. I was so, it didn't just happen when I met Jennifer, because I can't look at her because she saw me, we saw each other really in the community, and then we met at our local Copper Coin, and she kept sending me messages, and I thought, who is this person that wants to meet with me? And finally, stalker. Finally, I thought, okay, I better meet with her. But golly, I always say, we met, and we. It's just such a marriage, a blended family is what our team is. It's more if somebody's hurt, somebody doesn't, we help each other, we jump in. It's amazing. And I think that shows when we work with our clients. And our clients help us out. We just had a situation where we had a client, still recovering from COVID and just couldn't handle a commitment. And we had another client who jumped in and was able to, to help. We were able to help each other. And that's really what it's about.
What are some different marketing options that you offer local advertisers, Jennifer?
Yes. One thing that I love, and Candi and I work together a lot on this, is the content marketing opportunities, which are essentially advertorials. We have full and half-page advertorials, and it's where a client can tell their story. And we found people love to be able to tell their story, and it just peers in beyond the print ad to tell a little bit more about the company, how they got started, something new and unique. And that's one thing that I do always tell advertisers is, what is your unique value proposition? What makes you different from other businesses? And we all have a story to tell. So those content marketing pieces are invaluable. Love that. Another thing that's very unique that we offer is for a regular advertiser that does, let's say, a half-page ad for 12 issues, we will really take it to heart and consider it, but we'll offer them a writing opportunity. This is more what I call thought leadership, where it's educational versus non-self-promoting. And it might be, 3 tips to consider when renovating your kitchen, that type of thing. So, and we found that advertisers love that opportunity and that exposure. So, those are just a few things. And again, with our print advertising, we have anything from a quarter-page ad, third, half, full. So really, it's very important to consider what type of presence do they want to, how much do they want to dominate the market? Do they want to just have a little bit of brand awareness and have a few quarter-page ads? Do they want to dominate the market and have that full-page ad or a cover issue with a 2-page spread? We do sell our covers, and we found, too, that advertisers love those covers and love the 2-page spread. So one thing, too, I just want to note is all of our magazines are online. They're all digital. And with that, their ad has a live link that would take a reader directly to their website. So we have that. And lastly, so I don't talk too much, but each of our magazines have a dedicated Facebook and Instagram page. We have a strong presence online, a lot of engagement, a lot of followers. And then each magazine has its own dedicated website as well.
I do find that we are on the cover this month. Alpha and Omega Automotive is the Town Laker. And I do find that people want to know who you are. They want to know your heart. They want to know what drives you. They want to know your story. They want to know who you are. And that is an opportunity to allow people to get behind the curtain, so to speak, and get to know whether you're somebody that they want to do business with. And so that opportunity is greatly appreciated. And we have truly seen an increase in customers through this. We've done it twice now in 2 different of your publications, and both times I tried to be prepared with enough staffing to keep everybody happy, and I just keep not measuring up there because it's just the demand is so great. You guys have a great influence in the community, and I do think part of that is the opportunity to let people know who we are. Like, I think they like that.
That kind of is part of the way I approach writing covers and advertorials, because my background as a journalist is I'm more of a storyteller, is more so than a marketing person. So my goal with each article is to have the reader go to you and say, hey, Lori, I read about you. I feel like they know you and they know your business and your values and all the things you offer, but more importantly, just to know you as a person.
Well, I feel like a celebrity because a couple people have come in and asked my husband to sign the magazines. Is that not great?
That's
it's been
perfect.
Great.
Yes, that's great.
So what are the benefits of a consistent monthly print ad versus just one time? Like, what does that look like for you guys as far as how many times before you see a difference and that sort of thing?
Sure, I'll jump in. Well, there's a marketing rule that is the marketing rule of 7. And typically research shows that an ad has to be viewed 5 to 7 times before somebody makes a purchasing decision. So in order for the advertisers to get a fair return on their investment, we encourage that because it's for their benefit. So you want to stay top of mind. You want that repetition. That's very, very important in a marketing plan because marketing takes time. Just because somebody sees your ad does not mean they're ready to buy. And so when they see you over and over repeatedly, it sinks in, it builds that awareness, and it can help lead to that decision.
Awesome. All right. I'm going to ask Patty first. What motivates or inspires you? And I'm going to ask all of you this. So let's start with you, Patty.
In business or personally? Or just
however you feel led to share. I would like to know you personally. Just like the articles in the magazine, like knowing us personally makes people want to do life with us. I want to know you personally.
I think what motivates me is when I walk away from a person has a good feeling, leaving somebody feeling like they trust me, like they like me, like they have a good feeling when I leave, whether it's a client or an individual.
I'd love to say this about Patty, too, because Patty is not – she makes sure that she gets to know the client and really understands their needs. So she picks just the right marketing campaign for that person. She's not going to oversell. She's going to find just the right thing, and that makes them more successful.
That's great. What about you, Candi?
I love to connect people. And I love to share stories, the good news stories in the community, because we have so many of them, and we're a perfect way to kind of get that out. So that motivates me the most.
Jennifer?
Yes. Well, one thing that motivates me is building relationships in the communities we serve. And I had read a quote recently. It was in a book I had read, but it said, when you're in sales, which essentially, part of my job is advertising sales, but when you're in that, you're not closing a sale, you're opening a relationship. And that just stuck with me because I thought, that's it. That's what matters. People see that. They can tell when you care. And so with every interaction I have, I look at it as a new window of opportunity to build a relationship and hopefully keep those long-term clients.
I think that's the commonality with our team is building relationships. Mm-hmm. Really, we've never been driven by, I've never met a customer and thought, oh, this means X number of dollars or this percent. Ever, never.
Exactly.
And yeah. I think everybody on our team, everybody will meet somebody and they'll know about their kids, their husband, their dog, everybody. That's just a common theme throughout our company, I believe.
I've seen that a lot in our community, and specifically more recently, but I feel like that so many people that I've met are in the business to help you be the best version of you that you can be, to help you become successful. And then as you become successful, then automatically the light shines back on them too. And I just feel like we are such a community of lifting each other up. And I love how you guys do that in the community so dramatically. Why don't you tell me a little bit of how you use that influence in the community? How do you use the influence of the magazine specifically in the community?
I think Candi's probably best to answer that from the content.
I think that having a platform to offer folks a way to tell their stories, and not just your leaders in the community. I mean, that's very important too, but just folks of all walks of life. But to come alongside our city leaders, the mayor and council people, and our county commissioners, chairman of the board, he writes for us. So just, I think, allowing them a voice through us is a good way to use our influence.
And Candi does some things called Noteworthy. Can you explain what that is?
No, it's all those cute little stories they're the stories that you won't see in the newspaper or anywhere else. And it could be just, a little Girl Scout troop that got 500 books donated for a cause, and they're so proud. So, we'll run a photo and make an announcement about it. And
Rob's Rescues, how old is
he my goodness.
When he started?
Rob McMillan was in like third grade, and he's probably about 6 feet tall now. But he sent an email, and he said he wants to help shelter animals. Could he write an article and feature a dog and a cat from the shelter? I'm like, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Of course.
I love that.
And so now it's expanded to include an interview with a nonprofit leader. And he's done so many of them, he's run out of ones in Cherokee. So we break a little bit of the hyperlocal rule and let him interview other nonprofit leaders because it still impacts us here. But but it's something generated totally by him. I've got pictures of him at the shelter with his notebook in his lap with the cats climbing all over him as he's writing. So it's genuine.
So good.
Yeah, it's very sweet.
And the next question, how do you handle mistakes in your business? And give me an example of, feels like an interview, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, I guess it is an interview, but it just feels like a job interview. Tell me about a time that you...
Very, number one is very open and honest. We have made mistakes. Jennifer and I are looking at each other because we know of things that have happened with a client, and we've made a mistake, and we're upfront with the client. We tell them exactly what happened, and then we usually offer them some type of compensation. And I can't think of, I believe 100% of the time they feel better. They appreciate that we've offered some type of compensation, and they appreciate that we've been upfront. There's some mistakes that we can't help. A printer printed a magazine. Client calls and their ad's not in the magazine because they left out a couple of pages. The printer is just a weird, fluky thing that happens with the printer. That's happened. We've still offered a compensation even though it's not our fault. But our number one focus is the client. You ask, salespeople, Jennifer and I, marketing consultants, really, client is gold for us. And everybody on our team knows a client is gold for us, and we want to keep that client happy. I don't care if it was the client's mistake. I don't care if the client sent you the wrong picture for the cover and they're mad. I don't care. We want that client to be happy.
Yeah, I feel like on some level that when I was young, I thought I wasn't supposed to make any mistakes. But the older I get, the more I realize, obviously, we all make mistakes. I think I've heard it said that if you have, on Google reviews, if you're a complete 5.0 or whatever, that nobody believes that because somebody's going to get mad sooner or later about something, even unreasonably. And so I do feel like what you're saying, you just say, I'm sorry that happened. Let's figure out how we can fix it. I feel like that's the best way to deal with anything like that. So, Candi, tell me who's in your house or who was in tell me about your family. I want to hear about your pets, your kids, your husband. Tell me about your family.
Oh, my goodness. Okay. Well, I'm not a grandparent yet. I'll just say that up front.
Are you jealous?
A little bit. A little bit. I have to admit.
Well, my kids are a little older than yours.
Well, no, let me tell you. My oldest is 32. I probably shouldn't even be saying ages because, I started when I was 10.
Right.
But yeah,
right.
Let's just say they're adults now. But 3 children, Julie, Drew, and Rebecca, and they're all out on their own doing great things. My husband, Glenn, is a local pastor, and we just, because of the grandparent thing, we just adopted 2 puppies because we thought that would fill our lives. What were we thinking?
Oh, I think I've seen pictures. What kind of puppies are they?
They are part Australian Shepherd, part Blue Heeler.
And what are their names?
They're Ellie and Birdie. Now, our 2 cats at home named Bunny and John Henry aren't quite sure, and I think they're ganging up and about to revolt. So if I don't show up someplace someday, just know it's probably the cats that do. Yeah. But we love our animals, so it's a good thing.
I've heard that cats are always, you can just look in their eyes and tell that they're always trying to figure out their next move, what they're going to do to their adult.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, what about you, Patty?
I have 2 children. Daniel, who's soon to be 25. He explained that his frontal lobe will be in when he's 25. Yes. I always share that because it's so hilarious. And he lives in Florida. And my daughter Ansley's 27. She lives in Atlanta, works at Pont City Market if she ever goes back in the office. And then at home, we have little Zoe. She's my also pseudo-grandchild. And I have Millie the cat, it's Calico. And my husband, Mark, who's now working at his home office, which is Lockheed, but Lockheed's at home and Roundabout Local Media is at home.
Awesome. Jennifer, who's in your family?
So my husband, he is a pilot, so he flies the friendly skies for a living and, goes all over the place. And I kind of live vicariously through him. He goes to some very interesting places, and I think, wow, tell me about, everything you did on this trip. Truly, he could write a coffee table book. Some of the experience he's had and the places he's gone, and some of the pictures he's gotten out of the cockpit are just beautiful. But so that's his deal. And then I have a 16-year-old daughter that attends Woodstock High School. She is the apple of my eye. She's our only child. I could cry thinking about her right now because I can't believe in 2 years she'll be headed to college. But she loves horses. Art and horses. Those are her things. And so we bought a horse for her 16th birthday last year, and just love him to pieces. I mean, I sneak little rides here and there, and she'll give me little lessons. I haven't done anything crazy, but I've gotten on him and I haven't fallen off, so that's the good news. But when we do have 3 dogs, so got that going on too. But yeah.
We love our pets at Aroundabout Local Media.
I know.
It's Rob's Rescues and all of that sort of thing.
You should have some sort of party where everybody brings their pets and see if they all get along with each other.
I should have had a party for Zoe's first birthday.
Oh, my
Just
goodness.
turned 1.
We could have met at Brewster's. Well, I can get Glenn to do a blessing of the animals. We're actually talking about that at our church. So now that would be sweet.
Now, doesn't Brewster's have like pup
Yeah.
pops or whatever?
Ice cream, yeah.
Ice cream, yeah. Oh, I think that's a grand idea.
Yes.
I'll bring my pets.
Okay.
So, yeah, I think we should do it. Well, there is somebody else besides Stone in our studio today. Would you like to talk a little about what you have coming up?
Very excited to introduce Kelly Black, and she's sitting here. She's a chief strategist that's going to join us very soon, like Monday. But I've been sending her emails. We've been talking, and she comes to us with the experience of growing businesses. Say hi, Kelly. Hello. So we just experienced the growth of adding around Kennesaw, and we want to grow this company. So Kelly has experience doing that, and we're excited to have her join us. And people are going to be so surprised when we put that on social media Monday, because she's been out and about in Kennesaw. And Jennifer actually told me about her, and I said, I'd like to go meet her. Little did she know none of us knew what was going to happen, but here she is, and we're really excited that she's going to be on our team.
Wow, that's awesome. Okay, we are getting ready to start winding down. So before we do that, I want to make sure that you have had a chance to tell me everything that you want to tell me. So I'm going to start with you, Miss Jennifer. Is there anything else that was on your list of things that you wanted people to know?
Sure. Well, one thing, so I'm a nerd. I love to research marketing, advertising. It's just fun to me to read articles and keep up with what's current and trending. But I also like to just kind of look at facts and figures. And I found some interesting things I just wanted to share about print media. And just a few things that the Small Business Chronicle had shared in an article is that one of the advantages of print media is that it has staying power. So you have to think about it. It's something that isn't just quick like an ad that pops up. It has a longer shelf life, and especially with our community magazines in the home, that's our goal. And with the engaging content that Candi helps provide, that makes it where it sticks around. So another thing, it's viewed as credible. And again, these are statistics that multiple, reports and research has shown, but very, very credible. And overall, consumers view print media as more trustworthy than the internet. And then it's non-interruptive. So the fact that you're not interrupted when you're looking at it, you have it's more leisurely, as far as the time that you take with it. And with that, a lot of times the ad is viewed for a longer period of time. So I thought those were kind of neat things. Just little tidbits of information that are fun to know about. So
that's so true about the staying power. Not long ago, I received a phone call or an email from someone that was referring to an article that actually ran like 2 years ago. And I said, gosh, I could not figure out what they were talking about. And then we finally nailed it down to it was an old copy that they still had in their home. So that felt good to know.
Wow.
To know that staying power is really true.
I have had that same thing. Interestingly, there was somebody that had called. It was for Around Ackworth magazine, and they had an old copy, and it was a question. But the point being is that it was still in their home. And I thought, yay, it's still there. So that was encouraging.
I mean, the recipes alone are worth it, right?
Absolutely.
That's right.
Anything else, Candi, from you specifically that you want to make sure that people know?
I want people to know that they can contact me. They can email me or call me because I couldn't get all that amazing content without hearing from folks in the community. So don't ever hesitate to give us a call, shoot an email, put something on social media, on our Facebook pages, and we'd love to hear from you. Any kind of story ideas, sharing anything awesome that someone did, even if it's your daughter, raised $100 at a lemonade stand. That's great. So anything, we're interested in hearing about it and sharing.
Okay, awesome. Well, before I go to you, Patty, let me go back to you, Jennifer, for a second. And can you share all that contact information with us, like Instagram and Facebook, and how to get in touch with you guys?
Oh, yeah. So you mean, in other words, if somebody wanted to reach out to us, how could they reach out to us? So basically, in each of our magazines, in the very front of the magazine, for Woodstock and Town Lake, or Patty's contact information, her email and phone number is right there. And then same for me with Canton, Ackworth, and Kennesaw. So if you have a magazine and you want to reach out to us, there we are. Another great way is just to send a message through either our Facebook or direct messages on Instagram. That'd be a great way to reach out to us as well.
And if you go to AroundaboutLocalMedia.com, you can access any of our publications online. And really, all I want to do is thank the loyal readers and advertisers. And without y'all, we couldn't be who we are.
Anything, Stone, that you can think of?
No, but I really appreciate you guys letting me play. I've enjoyed this because I didn't have any real responsibility to ask or answer questions. So I could just listen, and as you might imagine, I really, really resonate with the whole idea of wanting to share stories and celebrate all the great stuff that's happening in our community. And I love what you're doing. I am just absolutely enamored with your mission. And I know this is women in business, but I certainly want to do anything that I can or the network can to support your efforts. So I hope you won't hesitate to ask us as well. And thank you, Lori, for letting me be a part of it.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining us today on Women in Business, powered by Business RadioX. Until next time, this is Lori Kennedy reminding you to keep learning and growing.